So good morning to all of you. We'll discuss in this class about external sector. So first we'll start our discussion with the exchange rate, what we are following. So there are three types of exchange rate. So draw the flow chart. First one is fixed exchange rate or pegged exchange rate. Second one is flexible and floating, and more or less the same meaning. And the third one is managed float. So among these three, which one India is following? Managed float. These are the two extremes, we can say, flexible and fixed. So here managed float means when RBI intervenes to control the exchange rate in the market, this is what we call managed float. Now, but before writing this, first of all, we need to understand the basics. So here basics are, first we have fixed or pegged exchange rate. Whenever you will find a term which is fixed or pegged exchange rate in newspaper, it means that the central bank, that is central authority, fixes the exchange rate at a particular value. Suppose for example, rupees 65 per dollar. This is fixed by Reserve Bank of India, irrespective of the value of rupee or value of dollar. If you want $1, you have to pay 65 rupees. This is fixed by. It means this will not change unless and until RBI wants to change this figure. This fixed exchange rate is followed by which country? China. So here the example is of China. China is following fixed exchange rate. It means the central authority, the central bank, People's Bank of China, follows this particular fixed exchange rate. They fixes the value of, what's the currency of China? Currency of China? Renminbi. Renminbi is the currency, and most popularly it is referred as yuan because yuan is the unit of that Chinese currency. Like for example, in United Kingdom, the currency is sterling, pound sterling. Pound is the unit to calculate that currency. So renminbi, and the unit is yuan. I'll explain what is devaluation, what is revaluation. But first, just understand fixed exchange rate. Next one is your flexible exchange or floating exchange rate. It means it depends on the market exchange rate. Market exchange rate means, you remember the first class market mechanism. It means it depends on three important things: demand, supply and prices of dollar. So this depends on market. Whenever I will refer market or market mechanism, it means demand and supply of that particular product. So here product is dollar. So if we say that India is following flexible or floating exchange rate, it means the value of rupee is determined by the demand and supply of dollar and rupee in the exchange rate market. Can you give me an example of flexible or floating exchange rate? Which country is following? Example is United States of America and other Western countries, Western economies. Whenever I say Western economies, it means advanced economies, because it is a term in economics that Western economies means United States and Western European countries, popularly known as advanced capitalist economy or developed economies. Now talking about managed float. So you know the extremes. This depends on market and this depends on central bank. So this exchange rate is generally depends on the discretion of central bank, and this central bank has no role. It means only demand and supply plays an important role. Here we can say it is a mix or it is a blend of both the extremes. So managed float means when RBI is allowing rupee to fluctuate with the demand and supply in the exchange market. But if the time comes, then RBI can intervene in the market and will control the excessive depreciation or appreciation. Getting my point? Suppose for example, 72 per dollar is the current rate of rupee. 72 per dollar. Suppose for example, what is the normal rate per dollar? Normal rate you heard about, around 60, 65 for last full year, it was around 65, 66, 64, 63. So it means this is an abnormal situation. Rupee depreciates, you remember? Loss in the value of rupee. So value or demand for rupee goes down. So whenever 72, it comes as 72. You can take actions. Like for example, our normal is, suppose for example, these are hypothetical examples. Suppose I'm taking 65 as my normal rupee rate per dollar, 65. But how much I can stretch? Like for example, 70 and 60. So if the rupee comes, the value of rupee comes between these two values, the 60 between 70. RBI is comfortable. We'll make a band, 60 to 70, we'll make a band. And we are comfortable whenever rupee fluctuates between 60 to 70, RBI will not take any action because this is the comfortable bracket according to Reserve Bank of India. These are hypothetical examples. That particular band is decided itself by RBI and they never disclose it. Now for example 72, it means it breached the upper limit. So now rupee depreciates beyond our extreme limit. So if rupee goes beyond that bracket decided by RBI, then RBI will intervene in the foreign exchange market. Getting my point? RBI will intervene to control the excessive depreciation. If you're banned, it means RBI is comfortable if the value of rupee comes between 60 and 70. If suppose tomorrow value of rupee is 72, then RBI can intervene in the market to bring back the value of rupee from 72 to the comfortable bracket. Getting my point? Now for example, if you are reading newspaper, there's no sign of worry even at 72. It means this is in the comfortable bracket of RBI. So if rupee depreciates maybe in future in 1 or 2 weeks to 75, then RBI will take action. Recently, if you are reading newspaper, RBI has started taking actions. That is passively, not actively in the foreign exchange market. So we can say that we are pushing to a upper limit that rupee can depreciate. Getting my point? So we'll write few points.
So, we don't see any kind of fluctuations in USA and developed countries in terms of currency. But what if there is fluctuations in dollar or with most developed countries currency? Then it's a hypothetical situation like will not the central banks of those countries participate and try to maintain its?
They want to maintain, and the dollar also depreciates. If you remember the 1973 OPEC crisis, what happened at that time? Depreciation in terms of dollar. Because what is the Bretton Woods system? The value of dollar pegged with gold. So if dollar depreciates, it means at that time when we adopted the Bretton Woods system, it was $1 is equals to some amount of gold. It was 0.5 something ounce at that time. But what happened? When USA decided to pay more due to OPEC crisis, the oil prices rose to from $1 per barrel to $32 per barrel. So you can imagine that 32 times rise in the oil prices. So obviously you have to print more dollar. if you're not able to fund that. You remember the international liquidity crunch when we invented special drawing rights. So that is for that purpose, because in 1967, due to Vietnamese war, there was a international liquidity crunch in dollar as well as foreign currencies, and the second one, international liquidity crunch in terms of gold, because of high mining cost of that gold. At that time, we do not have that much of technology so that we can mine gold as much as possible due to the demand. So in 1973, when dollar started depreciating vis-a-vis gold, then Richard Nixon, US president, decided to abolish the Bretton Woods system. This is the example. Dollar depreciates. Dollar depreciates in terms of euro.
So in that case, their central bank comes into the picture.
They come into the picture passively.
So there is no watertight compartment.
No watertight. These are not extremes. These are not extremes. Like if you remember the discussion of first class, I told you about there are three types of economic system: capitalist system, socialist system, and mixed economy. But we do not have any real life example of capitalist or socialist. We have different terminology: free market economy and state run economy. So every economy in today's world is a mixed economy, even China, because China is having government control as well as private sector. So these are the blend of both these. That I will make you right, that these are not extremes. They will intervene, but here total control of central bank, here very less control of central bank. But here a lot of the countries are following managed float. But if we want to give example, these are the best example, because suppose for example 90% time they are following fixed exchange, 90% time they are following flexible. So only few occasions when dollar depreciates way too much, then obviously Federal Reserve have to intervene. But depreciation of dollar depends on a lot of things. It doesn't correlate with depreciation of rupee. So factors affecting depreciation rupee is far more different in comparison to the factors affecting depreciation in dollar. Generally dollar depreciate when the supply of dollar increases. The same case with RBI, but there are a number of other factors as well, like global conditions. समझ में आया? ठीक है. So we'll write. First one is fixed or pegged exchange rate. In this type of exchange rate, central authority, in bracket you write central bank, central authority fixes the exchange rate vis-a-vis foreign currency, or a basket of currency, First stop. Whenever there is a condition of overvalued or undervalued domestic currency, whenever there is a question of overvalued or undervalued domestic currency, overvalued and undervalued domestic currency, then the central bank can devalue or revalue the domestic currency, shall I write the spelling? Devalue and revalue the currency. First up, in the real life example, China is following pegged exchange rate. Okay. So did you understand this sentence? Any doubt regarding this? Fixed exchange rate decided by, suppose for example, if we'll take this example in India case, it means RBI decided that this is the value of rupee. If you want to exchange that rupee with the dollar, you have to pay 65 rupees. If in real life demand for dollar goes up, then the central bank can devalue the currency. Here in real life, what is happening? According to demand and supply, the rupee fluctuates. But in the fixed exchange rate, because India was following this exchange rate. When? Before 1991, we were following fixed exchange rate. That is why remember the discussion that India devalued its rupee 3 times in the history of since independence. 1949, 1966 and 1991. These are the 3 years when India devalued its currency. 1949 obviously after independence, 1966 due to balance of payment crisis and the failure of third 5-year plan due to excessive imports of machinery as well as food grains. Then in 1991, obviously due to economic crisis, India had to devalue its currency because demand for dollar will go up. I'll explain that how this fixed exchange rate works. Now you write flexible and floating. In this type of exchange rate system, the value of domestic currency changes vis-a-vis basket of foreign currencies on the basis of market mechanism. In bracket you write market exchange rate. In bracket you will write market exchange rate. Understand? Any doubt regarding this? Example, you write in real life example, United States and other developed economies are following floating exchange rate. Okay. So here flexible and fixed are the extreme terms, but if you want to use, that is pegged and floating. Now understand the point? Now talking about managed float. So right, in this type of exchange rate, central authority allows domestic currency to determine at the market exchange rate but in case of heavy depreciation or appreciation central bank can intervene in the foreign exchange market. Full stop. Most of the modern economies are following managed float exchange rate, especially you write ES, especially after excessive globalization. after excessive globalization. Have you understood this sentence? It means after globalization, there is a high risk of heavy depreciation and appreciation, especially in the emerging market economies. Whenever I will say emerging market economies, it will convey the message that you are talking about some big economies that are developing at a higher pace, like India and China. Getting over? Whenever you write developing countries, it is a huge pool of countries. Developed countries, if you write advanced economies, that is also a synonym for developed countries. So in mains answer writing, you use the term emerging market economies. So it will convey the message that you know about the details of that particular economy. ठीक है?